Hello Geeks and Gamers, Matt Limp here with your gamer goggles, gamer-goggles.com, and today we have another box breaking for you. This one is on the Pathfinder 2 beginner box, and I am very happy that Paizo gave this to me. I love the beginner box products. I love teaching people how to play, so please come back and look forward to seeing the how to create a character with the beginner box and the full review. This is just a box breaking, so this is basically just what's in the box. Please like, subscribe, and share. So inside we have dice. Where's the knife? And we'll do my normal well, the D4. We roll the 2. Let's see how good they do. Well, I'd say that's a pretty decent roll for that. Average-ish. You get the stand-up bases for your I'll call them pogs, but for the creatures and the characters that come in the class or in the box. We also get a advertisement for Syrinscape, partnered with Paizo. And then we have the read this first, which basically says if you are on your own, it's designed for group play, but this box includes a solo adventure. It also lets you know that if you have a group, the steps you should take, and it lists basically all the contents on the back side. So we have cheat sheet cards. We'll go ahead and zoom in on these. This is conditions, and then on the back you have a player reference card for the different actions, all the little cheat sheets, rolling 20s or 1s. You have conditions again, and then again it is the same. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 6 cards, so there's one for every player. And then you have, we'll zoom out for this part. You have the different pre-generated characters. So you have Valeros the fighter and how he was created with Paizo. All of his breakdowns and his stats for everything you need. I'll zoom in a little bit here. We won't spend a lot of time going over this. And then on the next side, it breaks down your character sheet by section. So you have your ancestry, how you get all your extra points, etc. And then on the back, you have his bio. You have Ezrin the wizard. All of his necessary stats for learning to play the game. I think it's interesting that in the base game, they don't give you the number value, only the modifier. And then you have Kira the cleric, all of her stats, what she's trained in and untrained in. My light fell. That's a little bit better. Not really. Well, we'll do that. It's kind of blinding me, but. And then on the back, you have her bio, and you have Marisil, the rogue, all of her stats, and how to use the layout for using it, and of course you have her bio. Everything just fell. Next up, you have the Hero's Handbook, which this is basically everything you need to play in learning how to play the game. So it's your mini player's handbook, so to speak, your mini core rules. So you have the first couple of pages is an example of play, which you can read through if you'd like. And then, wait, I lied, that's not an example of play. Oh, that's the solo adventure. My bad. And then you have an example of play after that, And then after that, you have getting started. You have the basic concepts of, and this is where you will start the creation process using their system on how to create a character. And I'll do a video on that in the future. And then you have the different ancestries, dwarf, elf, human. And then you have the different, a few different backgrounds. Of course, it's watered down from the core book. And then you have the cleric spells. Then you have the fighter. Of course, it's going to be in alphabetical order. So next up would be the rogue, and then the wizard with all of his spells, or their spells, I should say. And then you have the basic equipment gear for starting them and buying and selling items, the basics. Excuse me, I just swallowed water, wrong pipe. Excuse me. Your basic equipment for the beginner box. And then you move into finishing off your hero, which is where you would do your saving throws, your skills, your trained and untrained, what you're trained and untrained in. Basically, this is where you round out your character. And that is actually probably one of the longest sections of the beginner box. And then it moves into the basics of playing the game. So it's everything you need if you're a beginner. It talks about damage, difficult terrain, gives you the breakdown of different types of movement, line of sight, flanking, and how the cones and areas in clouds and lines and diagonal template patterns work. And then you have the conditions at the very end, and getting knocked out, and of course, dying. It also includes a section on leveling up. And then there's a quick rules reference on the back of that. You have your 6 blank character sheets for creating up to 6 characters on your own from the basic rules. You have a beginner's box game master's guide. In the game master's guide, you have what to do to prepare for a session. There's a little map on the inside cover for playing. How to build adventures, environments and hazards, magic items, creatures, and the Otari. So this book is really designed for game masters. It's one of the first things they tell you. And then it moves through, so you got preparing an adventure, character creation, game sessions, supplies, and then, the very first thing right after the little beginner box prelude, so to speak, is the first level adventure in the beginner box. And after the adventure is where you get into more of the game mastering stuff on how to do things like, wow, the adventure is actually a little bit longer than I thought it was. So you move into game mastering, and it talks about preparing the adventure, character sessions, character creation, game sessions, planning a session. Generally, when I plan a session, depending on whether or not it's my own adventure or something that is pre-made, I generally spend more time on things that are pre-made because the creative process allows me to remember things a little bit better. But it includes everything you need to get started. So it also has the basic rules for downtime and exploration, how to award experience points, how to use difficulty in classes, and there's a nice section in here for building adventures. And I actually am really happy that they included this in the beginner box, because this is one thing that I think a lot of beginner boxes for a lot of different games don't do, is give you the ability to grow beyond it. This is a new set of tools for a beginning storyteller. And of course, there's information in here about different environments, climate, like I said earlier, hazards, some magical weapons, and as we get to it, what I'm kind of intrigued about is what kind of creatures they have in here. So we have the template breakdown here on how they work, the creature traits, the different sizes, how to identify creatures or identifying creatures. And we have animated armor, we have a basilisk, so there's pretty good range right off the bat. Boar, a bugbear marauder. I love the fact that there's a picture for each one. A cat leopard, a giant centipede. They like their giant centipedes. Doppelgangers, they like their doppelgangers. I like their doppelgangers. And my players will attest to that fact. They are brutal. Dragons, Drow, of course, good flavor for a beginner box. Elementals, Elementer, Cinder Rat, different elementals. Ghouls, how can you have a beginner box without ghouls and undead? Zephyrhawk was a cool choice. Ghosts are obviously a good choice. And of course, you have to have some goblins if you're talking about Paizo and Pathfinder, right? A gremlin Pugwampy, Harpy, Hellhound, Hobgoblin Warrior, Kobold Dragon Mage, some more kobolds, a Mimic in the form of a chair. That's a good Mimic, actually. Orcs, of course. Good bit of orcs. Owlbears. Good staples for a beginner box. Skeletons, of course. A giant skeleton. You've got some snakes. Trolls, spiders, great classical creatures in this book for you to learn to play and expand with, and some things that are a little bit more rare. And of course, you've got really only a zombie shambler. Interesting. And then you have the city, the Otari here, and Otari is a small coastal town. I was going to call it a city, but it's a little bit smaller than that. And then you have breakdown of characters of who are in the Otari, the town of the Otari, goods and services that are available, the dangers of the locales. Of course, you have an index, and you have some sheets, cheat sheets on the back, or cheat charts. And on the back, again, you have another quick reference. So what else do we have here? We have a rather large fold-out map. It is 24 by 24 maybe ish. Yeah, it's 24 by 30 ish. And I'm just going to go section by section here. So you've got a section there with some funguses, much that looks like a little bit of a drop, stairs, spider webs, a little bit of a gravesite. Up here it's a little bit more temple-like. There's statues here. Over here there's some crates and stuff, and then over here you have what looks like a wine tasting or a beer tasting area. Those could be for tasting. That looks like something to worship mind flayers. And then on the other side, you have more craziness. You have a section with some water here, some more barrels and things to give it flavor. Looks like a whole bunch of beds for goblins or something. You have over here a reflecting pool to a goddess. That's one thing that's really cool about the adventures they do. A great chasm here. One thing they do that is really cool in Pathfinder is every room they create almost always has some kind of function. So when you're, and it has actually affected the way that I create my dungeons now. And that is because I just don't like rooms that are dead. So now I've gone from making, sometimes I still make these really large dungeons, right? But other times, most of the time now, I create something small with 7 to 10 rooms, and that gives you enough encounters to do what you need to do. And here are the creature stand-ups that they give you. In the form of pawns. And we'll zoom in on this so we can get a good look. And these are probably these are the creatures that we were talking about. So we have orc commanders, scrappers, troopers, Shadow, Skeleton Guard. Actually, I don't remember seeing the Shadow. Lots of Skeleton Guards. Giant spiders. That's almost better. Wolves. And a troll. That's one kind of hideous looking troll. Zombie shamblers. Here's the NPCs, the clerics. Cleric with the different races. Fighters. Rogues. Wizards. And then the named characters from the box set. And Ogre Warrior. And then we have the Drow Warriors with the Ghost, the Gargoyle, the Elemental Shark. We have, oops, I went too far. Hobgoblin Warrior, Hellhounds. That's a good pawn. Lots of good color. The Ghouls, the Harpy, Hobgoblin Warrior, Ooze. Action tokens. Now we got some of the smaller guys. Here we go. Kobold Scouts, Kobolds, Giant Rat, Snake Vipers. And then on the last one we have the animated armor, Basilisks, Boars, Bugbear Marauder, the Doppelgangers, Centipedes, the Leopard, Bugbear Marauder again. We have the Wormling Dragon, a Drow Priestess, a Sneak Drow, and then we have some of these smaller pogs again, all our goblins, the Igniter, the Zephyr Hawk, and we have the Owlbear. So, inside the Pathfinder beginner box, you get all the pawns, this really sweet map, which these maps are amazing, by the way. They're dry erase. You can pour water on them. I did a video years ago on one of the first ones they made. I dipped it in a toilet and wiped it off. They are pretty much waterproof. You get the beginner's box, Game Master's Guide, all of the character sheets. We'll do it this way. You get your Hero's Guide for learning how to play the game and creating characters. You get the NPCs that are iconic characters. Oh, there's one thing left in the box that I missed. And we'll talk about that for a second. So this is Pathfinder Society. A world of adventure, intrigue awaits. Join the society today. And on the back, it's an advertisement for the core game and the core rules. So what is Pathfinder Society? It's basically the adventure league that allows you to play in local adventures, and even in some cases you get to do play testings, but you're part of a storyline that basically takes a year to tell. And there's different people in the Pathfinder Society, and sometimes the players that actually play in it get to become a part of the story that Paizo creates. For example, when you go to like a convention, sometimes from playing, PCs generate enough, we'll call it fame, that they actually get involved in the storyline and become a part of the story. I'm missing something, I thought. Well, I guess not. And of course, then you get, the dice. You can't play a role-playing game without dice. And there you go. That is everything that you need to learn how to play Pathfinder in the beginner box. So, of course, you get the, can't forget those. That's everything you need to play Pathfinder and learn how to play. So the beginner box is really good. It's more than just a standalone, I'm going to play one adventure and move on. It gives you NPCs to start the game right away with no character creation as a GM, so your players can play iconic characters right from the get-go. And then you can move into character creation after people have decided whether they like or dislike the game. That loud noise is cats. And then you can actually create your own adventures with what you have. So guys, thanks for watching. Please come back and watch the full review. I hope to play the beginner box this weekend. So maybe next week I will actually have a full review done and character creation out of the beginner box. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. And if you don't see me before the holidays, have a good holiday season. Hi guys. Meet the Nibbles, who's gonna go down. She just decided not to go down my back, so we'll do this for her so she's comfy. Thanks for watching my video, and I appreciate it. Please hit the like button. And share it if you know somebody who might be interested. And of course, there's always Twitter and the Facebook thingy, and soon I have a newsletter coming. That'll be down there or in a link below, and my kitty cat loves that idea. So anyway, there was one more thing. Oh yeah, subscribe. Be a part of my community, our community. Let's make it grow together. See you guys at a con somewhere, or a local store, or if I'm driving through the country, maybe a game club. I don't know, you're not going to go knock down my camera. Bye, guys.